the special edition where we will be focusing on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's historic visit to Palestine, a visit which will mark a shift in India's foreign policy with the dehyphenation complete when it comes to Israel and Palestine. His visit will begin from here, the historic city of Amman in Jordan, where he will land and then go to Ramallah from Jordan, will not be touching Israel, which is significant. While there are concerns that Israel might have with regards to India's stand on Palestine, the fact is that India has made it very clear that while there needs to be growing ties between India and Israel, there also needs to be a continuum in India's foreign policy when it comes to Palestine and to support Palestine in its cause at all international platforms, which is what we will be talking about. But first, over here in Amman, in Jordan, there are many Palestinians who left Palestine and were refugees in Jordan, in Syria. We went across and spoke to a few people who are first generation, second generation and third generation. Let's listen into what they have to say, after which we will be talking about the niceties of India's foreign policy when it comes to Palestine and Israel. Here in the Al Hussein Palestinian refugee camp, as it was known in the earlier days. Now it's a beautiful colony. The Palestinians who've been living here for decades have turned it into a beautiful colony. We will be going across and meeting people. They're mostly second generation and third generation Jordanians of Palestinian origin, because it's their parents or grandparents who moved over here when this entire area was just a refugee camp. Today we see houses, we see buildings, we see businesses that are thriving over here, but the want and the desire of the people remains the same, that they want to see their own homeland, they want to see their motherland, and they want to see a nation in Palestine. Why did you come to Jordan?
الواحد كان الواحد خايف انه يصير يعني شيء يذبح وشيء زي دير ياسين وزي.
When he came over here, were the buildings here or were there huts and hutments? How did it look over here?
لا انا مش عارف المخيمات هذه من 48. لا اللاجئين.
How difficult is it for your family in Jerusalem?
يعني واحد عدوك مثلك شو بدك تسوي؟ شو بدك تسوي؟
Finally, what does his father remember of the peace times, the beautiful times? Does his father still talk about the old times of Palestine being peaceful, or have they all forgotten?
طبعا أهله الواحد مع عشيرته قاعد في بيته طبعا. قبل الحرب كويسة كانت. نعم. لما طلعت كان عمري 30 سنة 20 سنة، لأن أنا مواليد 47.
This is Suraya, who feels very deeply in going back to Palestine someday. Suraya, difficult times because you remember and you feel very strongly for Palestine and the whole idea of nationhood in Palestine.
Yes, I like Palestine very, very much. It's my country. Jewish take our house, our parent house, and go. We are poor. My father and mother is poor, very poor. My house, take it easy with. Go out. Why? We don't anything. Please.
So you went to your family, your parents went to Syria and they settled there, and then you got married and came to Jordan?
Yeah, it's from very, very old years. My parents go to Syria. We are from north of Palestine.
Okay.
And I when married, go to Jordan. It's my husband from Palestine, and Jordan is very good. But my country, I can't.
No one forgets one's own country. You know, you're Palestinian in heart. I just want to know, Soraya, how difficult was it for your parents, for your father, for your mother to leave their home and go to a foreign?
It's very, very, very difficult for this time. It's very good. They go to camp and they haven't food, haven't water, haven't clothes. For 16 years.
Amir is a third-generation Palestinian living in Jordan. Amir, many thanks for joining us. We are in a colony that is inhabited by by Palestinians, and your grandfather moved and your grandparents moved from Palestine. What do you make of this whole issue of Palestine and the crisis with Israel?
Okay, first of all, while not only my grandfather from Palestine, it's about decades and many years, Palestinian people, Arab people, Muslim people there, not only Muslims, all the religions there. So Palestine, it's a place where all the people should stay together. And while we are living there for many years, so peacefully, and that's why when we are living in a place and someone come and this is not your place, this is the whole issue. So as an Arabic people, as a Muslim people, as a human being, there is always a feeling for not only Palestine, for that area, that region in the whole world.
Traveling from Amman to the Allenby Bridge, which is what we'll cross over to enter the Palestinian territory, to go to Ramallah. The route that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is taking is from Amman. He will be flying down to Ramallah, but unfortunately for us, we cannot fly down, so we are driving down this beautiful stretch of a road that you see. This is from Jordan to the Allenby Bridge. We will be passing the city of Al-Karama. The Allenby Bridge is also known as Al-Karama, and it is from there that we will have to go through Israeli checkpost. The Israeli, and the reason why we have Israeli visas, we will go through the Israeli checkpost, get our checking and security checks done, and then from there take another vehicle and then drive down to Ramallah. Number plates tell a very different story here when we try to cross into Palestine. These are yellow-colored number plates that are only allowed from Jordan into Palestinian territory up till this Palestinian checkpost. The green-plated vehicles that are Palestinian number plates are not allowed up till the Jordanian border. It's only because it's under Israeli security that we see Israel having its own yellow-colored number plates that they allow. Now, let me just go across, walk across to those cabs that wait outside to take people who have come from Jordan, from the Jordanian border, into this territory, flying in an Israeli cab up till this point here at the Palestinian border, and then they take these green-plated Palestinian cabs that now will take us to Ramallah. Up till this point, we have only Israeli vehicles with yellow-colored number plates that are really allowed to ply on the roads. Security might be an aspect, but certainly there is a point to be made over here as to how difficult a life is for Palestinians who want to move across easily. It certainly is not easy. On the way from the border of Jordan and Palestine to Ramallah are these places where Bedouins live. We've stopped over here to show you how difficult life is for Bedouins under Israeli occupation. We will be talking to one of the heads of the tribe over here, Mr. Al-Mukhtar, and he will explain to us how difficult life is. But they've always lived like this. They were nomadic tribes earlier, moving from one place to the other, but they've always lived in Palestine. This is their homeland, this is their motherland, and despite and in spite of how difficult times have been, they are not willing to move. They're steadfast in their determination that they're going to continue to stay here in their motherland, one which many call a country with borders, fences and walls. Here amongst the Bedouin people of Palestine, I'm being joined by Mr. Al-Mukhtar Defalla Arara, who is the head of the tribe over here. Many thanks for joining us, Mukhtar Saab. How difficult is it to live here when you have Israelis everywhere and are watching you all the time?
احنا كنا يعني أنا ولدت في المنطقة هذه، وأنا من أبناء المنطقة لأن ولدت فيها. فمن وقت الأردن ووقت يعني قبل ما تيجي إسرائيل كنا ساكنين هون، وكان الحياة كويسة وساعة. بس لما أجوا اليهود ضايقوا علينا شوية وضايقوا علينا كثير. شايف ممنوع نبني، إن إذا بنينا زينقو لوح زينقو زي هذا بيهدوا لنا إياه. شايف لا خشب يخش علينا، لا زينقو بتخش علينا ولا إشي. شايف.
So they actually come and use bad language, abuse them from across, and they can't do anything?
ولا إشي. يعني حتى إنه غنمنا كانت على الجبل هناك، راح والدنيا مطر شوي وفي مي في الأرض، راح رش سم ومات لي حوالي 5 روس.
So they poison the cattle and the livestock as well.
حكينا للشرطة ما عملت إشي.
How difficult is it for them to get food, the basic necessities of life?
الأكل لما نجيبه بنطلع على الشارع وبنجيبه من رام الله. يعني الواحد لو بده رغيف خبز بده يتكلف يعني حوالي 30 شيكل 40 شيكل على بس ثمن رغيف خبز، أجر مواصلات غير الثمن.
Finally, we talk about Palestine as a huge problem in terms of how the settlement has not really happened. As somebody who's old, who's seen so much in life, what is his vision and dream for the future generations of Palestine?
والله مستقبلهم سيء شوية، لأنه التعليم ممنوع شوية، ممنوع مدارس نعمل هون. طيب الطفل زي هذا بده مدرسة، بده روضة مشان مخه يتفتح، ما فيش، ممنوع. شايف فالحياة يعني صعبة.
This is a checkpost that's Israeli, from where you can enter towards and go towards Jerusalem. What we are doing is driving down to Ramallah, but these walls speak volumes of what the situation is on the ground. These are walls that separate Palestinians from their own territory that they claim has been theirs for centuries. And the walls have been built by the Israelis. On the other side is Jerusalem, but we are now driving towards Ramallah, which is where we will be covering Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit. But this is yet again a land with borders and with walls. Finally entering Ramallah from the Jordanian border. It was a drive where we saw a lot of things, but this is going to be historic. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be here in Ramallah, a historic moment where the dehyphenation will be complete when it comes to Israel and Palestine. But more importantly, what will India do? What is India's stand going to be? And what does India have to offer to Palestine are the things that we are going to explore here in Palestine. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's historic visit to Palestine. Ahead of his visit, I'm being joined by the Palestinian ambassador to India, Ambassador Al-Haija. Many thanks for joining us. Indeed an honor, but also a very special moment for Palestine that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting Ramallah, the first Prime Minister to do that. But also, do you think the dehyphenation is complete when it comes to Israel and Palestine?
First of all, I would like to welcome you in our way to Palestine and to thank you for this interview. For us as Palestinians, when any Indian come to Palestine, we are happy. So what will be our happiness when we receive His Excellency, the Prime Minister of India? The relation between India and Palestine, it's a historical relation. And I think with the visit of Mr. Mukherjee, the President of India, the Foreign Minister, the State Minister MJ Akbar, and now the Prime Minister Mr. Modi is coming, assure that everything in the relation between India and Palestine is great, and India still support the Palestinian cause as independent state.
Ambassador Sir, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is not touching Israel. He is going to land here in Amman and then will go fly to Ramallah. That completely shows that the foreign policy of India is where they want to separate Israel and Palestine and ensure that they work with both. Is that something that is an idea that is acceptable to Palestine?
Let me say that when Mr. Modi visited Israel, I met high level at the foreign ministry, and they told me we deal with Palestine as independent country. We don't deal with Palestine as a tail of Israel. Anyone who wants to visit Israel should visit Palestine. And I have the honor before to meet the Prime Minister himself and invited him directly to visit Palestine. And he said, I'm coming for both. Now when he come via Jordan, that means that he is coming to Palestine as independent state. India has a great support for a long time, and is still supporting the Palestinian cause.
We are here at Yasser Arafat's museum. This is where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to come. Across over there is his tomb, which is where he's going to pay his last respects. And on the other side is the museum. We'll go across to the museum and let you know, give you an insight of how beautifully his rooms are maintained and have been maintained to show the world how he lived under Israeli siege. We are inside Yasser Arafat's museum, the tallest leader of Palestine. He fought for the Palestinian cause, fought very hard, but the last few years were under siege of the Israeli forces, the Israeli establishment. What you can see over here is in the museum, they've kept the entire place intact when he lived here under siege by Israeli forces. That's his bed, those are his uniforms, that's the TV, the way he saw news and the world from this place, almost like a birth. There's a painting out there, drawn, a drawing by his daughter, amazingly kept, but again speaks volumes of the struggle by the Palestinians for the fight in which Yasser Arafat certainly played a very important role. This is the place where he would come for his regular checkups. Now, we also have the medical reports over here. These medical reports, in many ways than one, spell out what the reason and the cause of his death were. And it is certainly an overwhelming experience, a shocking experience, because we see many sides of the story. But when you hear and when you see these reports that speak about hospitalization, poisoning, then there are concerns that that are raised. Look at the bunkers over here, kept intact for the soldiers to really stay and guard Yasser Arafat. And the noise and the sounds that you hear over here is to give a feeling, a sense of how they lived under the Israeli forces and under the Israeli establishment, with guns, bombs firing that you can hear all along. That's how intact they have kept this entire place. This is the entire stretch. This is the space where Yasser Arafat spent his last days, 3 years under siege by the Israelis. It's the beginning of a weekend, and hence you see a lot of people over here, youngsters who have come out over the weekend. They will be here at the heart, at the center of Ramallah. But this is Area A of West Bank, under Palestinian control, under the authority of Palestine. And it's the reason why we see that people can move around freely. But there are Area B and Area C of West Bank, which is absolutely under Israeli control. And that's where life is difficult. So while we'll be showing you the culture over here of the people, the youth, the youngsters, and what do they aspire, there still is that underlying fear of how things are going to turn out, or how things can really change drastically for them in moments. And that's something that a world community has to talk about, figure out. We'll be talking to a few youngsters over here as to what their life is, what their aspirations are, and how they want to take things forward. We're in the beautiful city of Ramallah. How can we end a show without having the youth of Ramallah, the youth of Palestine? Let's just go across to a few people over here, beginning with Mahmoud. Mahmoud, life is difficult for Palestinians when we see the West Bank and other areas. In Ramallah, you still have a good life. But what do you think of the future of Palestine?
It's not a very good life here in Ramallah. I'm from Jerusalem, okay. It's hard to go from Jerusalem to Ramallah, and from Ramallah to Jerusalem. We have checkpoints, we have some bad ways to go, and it's not very peaceful life. We always have to have some careful, and it's scary to go out in not comfortable days, maybe.
You spoke about Jerusalem, Rida. The world and the opinion right now on Jerusalem is changing. We saw US talk about Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. As youngsters from Palestine, what do you make of the kind of opinion that is being formulated on Jerusalem?
Well, exactly. It's totally rejected. Jerusalem is the capital. It's the historical capital of Palestine, the historical Palestine, all of it. Let's see things clear here. We're under occupation. A lot of countries, maybe the last country on this land, on this planet, is occupied. We have a lot of idols to look for. Like, we are facing apartheid. Now we have Nelson Mandela as an idol. We are facing bloodshed. We are facing war, and we're non-armed people. We're civilians, and also we still get killed, get shot at, get imprisoned for no reason, just and for security purposes. We have a lot of idols to look for, to act like. We have Nelson Mandela, I said before. We have Mahatma Gandhi. All of these people. We are people who fight fought and still fighting for our right to be free, to live in our lands as we want to.
We learn from the struggle of freedom of the Indian people, especially when it comes to the struggle against colonialism with leaders like Mahatma Gandhi and all the free people of India. And until this day, we keep learning from the Indian experience. And that's why this historical roots, they go back way before all this and the current status. You spoke about policy. I truly believe that the Palestinian struggle is not only for Palestine, it's for all entire humanity.
We have Palestinian Jews live in Nablus, Yahud Samira. Where we have other Jews originally live in Palestine, Yehuda Karta. Those people consider themselves as Palestinians, and guess what? They are hated by the Israeli politicians and government more even than the Christian or the Muslim Palestinian.
Right. On that note, just knowing that it's a beautiful place that respects all kinds of religions and cultures, it is time for me to say goodbye on this show that will that has been a journey on what Palestine is all about and how important it is to India. With that, how do you say goodbye in Arabic?
Salam.
Salam. Okay. Salam. Okay, on that note, salam from Ramallah.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.